Chapter 4461. Lu Ming and the other three moved forward in the mist. Their speed was not fast as they walked along the streets and alleys of the buildings, focusing on their surroundings. Half a day later. Watch out. There's something up ahead. Suddenly, Lu Ming said and sent a message to Xian Yinqing and the others. Xian Yinqing and the other two also stopped and looked in one direction, because from that direction, they heard the sound of explosions and weapons colliding. Someone was fighting. The four exchanged glances. Who was fighting? Was it the heavenly human race and the others, or the horrifying creatures in the mist? Lu Ming was confused, but he decided to go and check it out. The four hid their auras and rushed toward the direction of the sound. It's close. Hide, Lu Ming said. The four hid their bodies with the help of the tall buildings and continued to approach. Finally, a blurry figure appeared not far ahead. The heavenly human race. That's right, they saw a dozen heavenly human race members at first glance. Through their auras, they could see that one of them was a divine master. The other heavenly human race members were all at the 9th layer of the great god realm. However, they were not the ones who had chased after Lu Ming and the others, but the other heavenly human race members. The number of heavenly human race members here was indeed shocking. Right then, the divine master heavenly human race member did not attack. Only a dozen elders at the 9th layer of the great god realm joined hands and formed the 9 heavens battle formation to attack a young man. It's him. Lu Ming, Xian Yinqing, Qiu Moon, and Wan Shan saw that young man and were all shocked. They knew this young man. Xiao Chuhe was one of the top geniuses on the universe ancient genius rank, ranked 18th. Everyone had seen him in the battle for the origin seed. He had an 8-star battle power and a cultivation base at the 9th layer of the great god realm. However, he was surrounded by more than a dozen elders from the heavenly human race and had no power to fight back at all. In a one-on-one battle, none of the heavenly human elders would be able to beat Xiao Chuhe. But, with all of them setting up the 9 sky battle formation, Xiao Chuhe was completely suppressed. Right then, Xiao Chuhe was already wounded, and his clothes were dyed with blood. He kept backing out, and it looked like he was about to die. Lords of the heavenly human tribe, if you want the Life Soul Origin Stone Fragment, I'll give it to you. Please spare my life. Xiao Chuhe screamed and started to beg for mercy. Humph, since you've come here and seen us, you have to die. After all, we can still get the fragments of the natal spirit stone in your hands after killing you. The divine master of the heavenly human race sneered and stood to the side with his hands clasped behind his back, looking calm and composed. So, Xiao Chuhe also has a piece of his life spirit yuan stone. Back in the top immortal city, it was suppressed, and I could not sense it at all. Lu Ming's heart stirred. Originally, the owner of the natal spirit stone fragment would be able to sense it when they were close. However, in the Taishang immortal city, everything was suppressed, including the fragments of the life spirit vitality stone. They were also suppressed, so they couldn't sense each other. Therefore, Lu Ming did not know that Xiao Chuhe had the natal spirit stone fragment in the top immortal city. The Battle of the Origin Seeds had gathered all of the top martial geniuses in the entire universe. Lu Ming estimated that Xiao Chuhe might not be the only one with the natal spirit stone fragment. However, since he could not sense it, he did not know who it was. Pooh. Right then, Xiao Chuhe was no match for the heavenly human race. A beam of sword chi pierced through his body, and his body exploded into 2 halves. Spare my life, Xiao Chuhe screamed, but the heavenly human race warrior would not show any mercy. The 9 sky battle formation was activated, and the sword chi increased drastically as it continued to attack Xiao Chuhe. This time, Xiao Chuhe would not be able to survive. His head was pierced through by the sword chi and exploded. Shoo! Shoo! Xiao Chuhe's head exploded, and his sea of consciousness collapsed. A couple of beams of light shot out. Soul Origin Stone Fragment. Lu Ming could clearly see that one of the beams of light was indeed the natal spirit stone fragment. I want to eat it. I want to eat it. Lu Ming's natal spirit stone was getting impatient, revealing a deep desire. However, it was suppressed by Lu Ming. That heavenly human race warrior reached out his hand and grabbed the natal spirit stone fragment. A smile appeared on his face as he said, "Very good. Another natal spirit stone fragment is in our hands. If we succeed this time, our master will definitely reward us handsomely. This time, I wonder how many people have come in here. It would be great if we could get a couple more of them." A ninth-level heavenly human race elder said, "Yeah, let's not waste any more time. Let's give this natal spirit stone fragment to our master first, and then come out to look for the others," that heavenly master said. However, just as he finished speaking, his expression changed as he looked in one direction and yelled, "Who is it?" From that direction, 4 human figures suddenly shot out. These 4 human figures were naturally Lu Ming and the other 3. The other party was able to discover them because the 4 of them had done it on purpose. Because Lu Ming and the others had decided to attack. These heavenly human race warriors were not strong. They could sense that the heavenly master was only at the first level of the divine master realm. They could definitely deal with him. There were 2 reasons for killing these heavenly human race warriors. One was, of course, the natal spirit stone fragment. The other was to capture a few heavenly human race warriors and ask them some questions they wanted to know. Not every heavenly human race warrior was so stubborn that they would rather die than talk. For young people, more than 10 heavenly human race warriors were relieved when they saw Lu Ming and the other 3. They could already tell that Lu Ming and the other 3 were only God Emperors. God Emperors were not a threat. Buzz. At that moment, the natal spirit stone fragment in the heavenly human race warrior's hand trembled and emitted a dim light. They also have the natal spirit stone fragment. Good, very good. He was overjoyed. Young man, the natal spirit stone fragment is in your hand. Hand it over. The heavenly human race warrior took a step forward and charged toward Lu Ming. He grabbed at the air and grabbed at Lu Ming. He thought that with his strength, dealing with a young man at the 9th level of the divine god realm would be a piece of cake. Even a peerless genius was nothing in his eyes. A heavenly human race warrior at the 9th level of the divine god realm could fight against the most ordinary 1st level of the divine master realm. However, he was not the most ordinary 1st level of the divine master realm. Therefore, even if Lu Ming had a heavenly human race warrior of 9 or even 10 stars, he was confident that he could suppress him. Moreover, how many heavenly human race warriors had 9 or 10 stars? I'll leave the others to you. I'll deal with this one. Lu Ming sent a voice transmission to Xian Yinqing, Autumn Moon, and the myriad gods. Then, he sped up. At the same time, the Bingxian staff appeared in his hand. Lu Ming used his strongest combat strength to end the battle quickly. Boom! The Bingxian staff enlarged and charged toward the heavenly human race warrior with unparalleled power. The Bingxian staff hit the heavenly human race warrior's palm first. It was as if it was crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. The heavenly human race warrior's palm exploded and blood and flesh flew everywhere. Chapter 4462. The 1st level god lord of the celestial race widened his eyes in shock and disbelief. Lu Ming's strength had far exceeded his expectations. Not only was he stronger than he had imagined, but he was also much stronger. How could this be? His heart was filled with confusion and shock, but this was not the time for him to be shocked. He roared, and heavenly energy erupted from his body in an attempt to block Lu Ming's attack. But it was all in vain. Under the mysterious ice staff, his defenses and heavenly energy were pushed back again and again, crumbling apart. A terrifying pressure pressed down on him, and the ground beneath his feet began to crack. Finally, a large crater appeared in the ground. The 1st level god lord of the celestial race lay in the crater, coughing up blood as his body twitched. His muscles and bones had already been shattered. In one move, Lu Ming had heavily injured him, and he was no longer able to fight. After Lu Ming used the mysterious ice staff, his strength completely overwhelmed this person. Moreover, this person had been too careless when facing Lu Ming, so it was normal for him to be beaten to a pulp in one move. As for Xian Yinqing and the others, they were about to finish their battle. The 9th level god emperors had originally wanted to set up the 9 heavens battle formation, but Xian Yinqing had acted first, using the celestial demon domain to disrupt the formation. Without the 9 heavens battle formation, these people were on the same level as Xian Yinqing and the others. There was no suspense. The difference was too great, and they were easily defeated. At this time, these people were all heavily injured and lying on the ground, unable to move. They were no longer able to fight. However, no one had been killed. Lu Ming and the others still had questions to ask. "Let's leave this place first," Lu Ming said. With a wave of his hand, he swept up the first-level god lord of the celestial race and took him into the fog. Xian Yinqing, Qiu Qiu Moon, and Wan Shan followed with tinsome ninth-level god emperors. Not long after, they entered a building. He threw the dozen or so heavenly humans onto the ground. Lu Ming reached out his hand and made a grabbing gesture. The original soul fragment that the opponent had gotten from Xiao Chuhe was caught in his hand. "You! How dare you? Don't you know that we are the heavenly human tribe? How dare you attack us? Aren't you afraid of implicating your 9 generations?" The Divine Master Realm heavenly human shouted. He actually wanted to threaten Lu Ming and the others. Bang! Wan Shan did not hold back and kicked the Divine Lord in the face. The man let out a blood-curdling scream as his old face came into close contact with the ground. Half of his face was swollen. "Ah, how dare you!" The Celestial Clan's Divine Master roared. 9 familial extermination? Audacious? I'm a heaven destroyer. Why would I be afraid of your heavenly palace? The myriad gods sneered. The other party immediately shut his mouth, his expression extremely ugly. He howled in his heart. It was actually a heaven destroyer. The heaven destroyer specialized in fighting against the heavenly palace. Of course, they would not be afraid of the heavenly palace. Facing the heaven destroyer, their hearts kept sinking. "Speak. Why are you heavenly human tribe here? Was it attracted by the life spirit vitality stone? When did you come? How many of you are here?" Lu Ming asked several questions. "Traitor, don't even think about getting any information from me. I won't say anything. Just give up." The Divine Master Realm heavenly human said coldly. "Is that so? Wan Shen, teach him a lesson." Lu Ming said, "Hee, leave it to me." Dry bones devouring soul. The myriad god sneered and moved his hands, sending several streams of energy into the other party's body. Soon, the other party's body began to tremble, and cold sweat dripped down his face. Clearly, this person's endurance was far inferior to the first-layer Divine Master that Lu Ming had interrogated earlier. After a while, this person let out a shrill scream. The faces of the other dozen god emperors of the heavenly human tribe turned pale. What kind of technique was this? Even a god emperor couldn't withstand it and let out a scream. However, this person was quite strong-willed. Although he screamed, he didn't say anything in the end. The myriad god waved his hand and put away the dry bones devouring soul. Hoo, the heavenly human tribe's god emperor panted heavily, as if a heavy burden had been lifted from his shoulders. Ha, use whatever means you have. I won't say anything. Not a single word. Ha. Then, this person laughed loudly. There's no need for you to say that. There are still a dozen people here. Lu Ming curled his lips and looked at the dozen ninth-layer god emperors. The heavenly human tribe's god emperor's expression changed. He looked at the god emperors and roared, "If you dare!" Bang! Before he could finish his sentence, Lu Ming had already stepped on this person's head. Violent energy exploded, and the first-layer god emperor's head exploded like a watermelon. The universe bridge inside was also destroyed. A god emperor had been killed just like that. When Lu Ming killed the man, he quickly scanned the dozen elders who were at the 9th level of the Great God Realm. The expressions of the elders at the 9th level of the Great God Realm changed drastically. However, a few of them looked terrified, and Lu Ming noticed it clearly. Lu Ming nodded. He knew what was going on. These heavenly human tribes elders were quite old. They had lived for a long time and had experienced many things. They were mentally tough. If he wanted to get something out of them, he had to think carefully. Lu Ming sent a voice transmission to Xian Yinqing and the rest. He wanted to interrogate these few people who had revealed looks of fear at the end. Then, Lu Ming walked to an elder of the 9th-layer god emperors. The heavenly human tribe's elder's expression changed slightly when he saw Lu Ming kill the heavenly human tribe's god emperor. However, his expression didn't change much. He looked as if he was ready to die. Speak. Why would your heavenly human clan appear here? Are you attracted by the fragments of the life spirit primordial stone? When did you come? How many of you are here? Lu Ming repeated the question that he had asked earlier. Don't even think about it. The heavenly human tribe would rather die than surrender. We won't say a single word, the elder shouted. Bang! Lu Ming hit the elder with the Bingxian staff and destroyed his body and soul. Then, he immediately looked at the next elder of the heavenly human tribe and said, You say it. The elder's lips trembled. He looked hesitant, but in the end, he gritted his teeth and said, Kill me if you want to. Don't even think about it. Bang! The Bingxian staff hit the elder, and he died. Then, he walked to the third elder of the heavenly human tribe. Bang! 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 Then, Lu Ming killed 3 more people in a row. He was very decisive. As long as the elder said no, he would kill him with one move. Sure enough, this person was ruthless and swift. This caused the remaining heavenly human clan elders to all reveal expressions of fear. This was especially true for the few old men who had previously revealed looks of fear. At this moment, they were already filled with intense fear. I'll talk. I'll talk. Finally, one of the elders of the heavenly human tribe shouted. The last line of defense in his heart was broken by Lu Ming. Chapter 44:63. Oh, go ahead. Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile as he looked at the heavenly human elder. I'll tell you, but you have to promise to spare my life. The elder from the heavenly human tribe said. He was scared. He was really scared. If he had died in a battle, he would not have been afraid. However, if he had to wait for death, he was really scared. Okay, I'll let him go as long as he answers one of my questions in detail. If he's satisfied with your answer, I'll let him go. Lu Ming said. Really? The elder from the heavenly human tribe's eyes lit up. Of course. The first question is, why did the heavenly human tribe come here? Lu Ming said. Master brought us here. His name is Yi Wu, and he's a peerless genius from the heavenly human tribe. Although he's not young or in his prime, he's a peerless genius from the previous 2 eras. He said that he found the legendary life, spirit heavenly court, and brought us here to look for opportunities. The elder quickly replied. Then, he looked at Lu Ming hopefully and said, I've already answered one question. Can you let me go now? Of course. I'm a man of my word. Let's go. Lu Ming said. The elder was a little skeptical, but in the end, he gritted his teeth and ran away. Lu Ming and the others did not attack him. They let him go. He was just a cultivator of the 9th great god realm. It was not a big deal to let him go. Moreover, he had betrayed the heavenly human tribe by revealing their secret. That was a serious crime. Therefore, even if he went back, he would not tell anyone about the situation here. Letting him go would give the others hope. Then, it would be easier for them to ask questions later. As expected, when the others saw that they could live if the elder answered one question, they collapsed. Their desire to live surpassed everything else. I'll tell you. I'll tell you too. I'll tell you too. Ask me. I'll tell you everything. The others began to cry out one after another. They had thought that they were going to die, but now they saw a chance to live. Naturally, they were tempted. Very good. Tell me, how did you come here? Were you attracted by the fragments of the life spirit primordial stone? Lu Ming said. I don't know if we were attracted by the vitality stone because Master Yi Wu didn't tell us. Maybe our levels are too low. A divine master might know. I only know that this is the life spirit heavenly court, and there are great opportunities here. That person replied. Lu Ming frowned. He was not satisfied with this answer. Asking was as good as not asking. When the man saw Lu Ming frown, he immediately panicked and shouted, This question? I really only know this much. Why don't you change the question? I will definitely tell you in detail. Very well. How many people have come from your heavenly human tribe? What are their cultivation levels? Tell me. Lu Ming said. This time, Lord Yi Wu has brought close to 300 people with him. There should be more than 20 divine lords, most of whom are at the 1st or 2nd layer of the divine lord realm, but there are definitely some who are stronger. My level is too low, so I don't know what the cultivation levels of those who are stronger are. I'm telling the truth. They don't know either. The person hurriedly replied. Beside him, the others also nodded. More than 20 Divine Lord Realm existences, more than 300 people, Lu Ming, Xian Yinqing, Qiu Moon, and Wan Shan all wore grave expressions. Even a second-level Divine Master wasn't someone they could deal with, let alone someone even stronger than that. All right, you can go now. Lu Ming waved his hand. The person was overjoyed. He quickly got up and rushed into the distance, disappearing into the fog in the blink of an eye. Then, Lu Ming asked the next person, "Where are Lord Yiwu and those stronger experts that you mentioned?" They had to know this so that they could guard against them and avoid them. The Life Spirit Heavenly Court is too big. It's hard to describe its exact location. I only know that they're in an ancient place. There must be some important treasures there, but they need Life Spirit stones to open it. Not just one or two pieces, but many. That's why Lord Yiwu sent us to different places to hunt down experts who have Life Spirit stones and give them to him, the person answered. How did he know that someone with a piece of the natal spirit stone would come here? Lu Ming continued to ask. They had just arrived not long ago, and Lord Yiwu must be very far away. They did not sense the vitality stone fragments. How did Lord Yiwu know that they had come here with the fragments of the natal spirit stone? Did he encounter other existences with vitality stone fragments? I don't know about that. My rank is too low, and Lord Yiwu won't tell us many secrets, the person said, looking at Lu Ming uneasily. He was afraid that he would be killed by Lu Ming if he was not satisfied with his answer. You can go now. Lu Ming waved his hand. The person was overjoyed and hurriedly left. There were still 4 heavenly human tribe elders present. They looked at Lu Ming hopefully, hoping to answer Lu Ming's question and get a chance to live. Tell me in detail about the Life Spirit Heavenly Court. Is it dangerous? What's with the fog? Lu Ming asked. This fog will automatically disappear after 7 days. After that, it will appear again after a period of time. It will continue to deteriorate. Furthermore, there are no other dangers here. One of the heavenly human tribe elders told him everything he knew in detail. After hearing this, Lu Ming and the others finally understood a lot about the Life Spirit Heavenly Court. When did you come here? Lu Ming asked the next person. I came here 3,000 years ago. A heavenly human tribe patriarch answered. 3,000 years ago? Lu Ming and the others were shocked. These heavenly human tribe members had come 3,000 years ago. No wonder they did not know them and did not know about Taishang Immortal City. They would be shocked by their cultivation. These heavenly human tribe members had come 3,000 years ago, but they had only come recently. That Xiao Chuha must be the same as them, having just arrived recently. What was going on? Did something happen in the Life Spirit Heavenly Court that caused the Vitality Stone fragments to act strangely? Was that why they were brought here? Did this have something to do with Yiwu? According to these heavenly human tribe members, Yiwu had only sent his subordinates to hunt down people with Vitality Stone fragments not long ago. Apparently, Yiwu knew they were here. At this moment, Lu Ming and the others thought of many things and had many questions in their minds. Unfortunately, these celestial race cultivators' levels were too low. They were like soy sauce characters, so they didn't know much. If they were divine lords, they would definitely know more. Unfortunately, the 2 divine lords they had captured were too stubborn and could not open their mouths. Chapter 4464. After that, Lu Ming asked the remaining heavenly human tribe elders a few more questions and obtained some unimportant information. Then, he let them all go. After letting those people go, Lu Ming and the other 3 left as well. They found another place to let the rock spirit devour Xiao Chuha's soul stone piece. In this way, the life soul primordial stone fragment in Lu Ming's hand could be considered a fusion of 3 fragments. This made the vitality stone spirit very excited. Even its memories were more complete. It could remember a few secrets of the life spirit palace. Unfortunately, it still had no impression of the Life Spirit Heavenly Court or this ancient city. However, there were always benefits to fusing with more Life Spirit Vitality Stone fragments. Although they hadn't gained much in the Life Soul Heavenly Court, they still hadn't gained much. But one thing was for sure. There was definitely a treasure in the life spirit heavenly court. This was because Yiwu of the heavenly human tribe was about to open an ancient ruin and needed more fragments of the natal spirit stone. Perhaps there were other similar historical sites. Also, were the other three treasures of the life spirit heavenly court also in this ancient city? The group of four continued to move through the mists, advancing carefully. Along the way, they also sensed the aura of the celestial clan, so they avoided them ahead of time. Just like that, 7 days of fog passed. When the 8th day arrived, the fog in the world quickly dissipated, and the world regained its clarity. When the fog dissipated, Lu Ming's group of four hid in an intact building. To them, the absence of the fog was more dangerous than the presence of the fog. It was because the Celestial Clan's experts could move out without any restraint. They could target them even from far away. Once he encountered an expert above the second layer of the Divine Master Realm, he would not be able to shake them off. They decided not to take action when there was no fog. They would only take action when there was fog. Although the speed was much slower when the fog rose, they had plenty of time, didn't they? He's here. In less than half a day, Lu Ming suddenly whispered. The four of them retracted their auras to the extreme. They were like stones, using the buildings as support to look outside. Swish, swish. In the sky, there was the sound of air being torn apart. One figure after another appeared. Their eyes were like lightning as they scanned their surroundings. It was precisely the celestial race. There was no lack of divine masters among them. At the same time, their spiritual senses kept scanning the area. Under Xian Yinqing's Sky Demon domain, Lu Ming's group of four was completely isolated from the outside world's spiritual senses. Xian Yinqing had the memories of his previous life and had many tricks up his sleeve. It wasn't difficult for him to block the probing of other people's spiritual senses. The heavenly humans scanned the area, but they did not discover anything. They then left in a flash. Lu Ming and the other three stayed in the building, cultivating and waiting at the same time. Especially Xian Yinqing needed some time to cultivate. Because Xian Yinqing's cultivation had long reached the peak of the God Emperor realm, he could already break through to the Divine Master realm. Divine Master Divine, Masters SSS Divine Master. If she could break through to the Divine Master realm, her battle prowess would skyrocket, which would be of great benefit to them. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 days had passed. During these dozen or so days, they had discovered at least 3 groups of Celestial Clan cultivators. They had investigated this place, so they naturally didn't discover them. Half a month later, fog began to appear again. Soon, the entire ancient city was shrouded in thick fog. Let's go. Lu Ming's group of 4 began to move again. They charged into the fog, heading toward the center of the ancient city. Nothing unusual happened for the first 2 days. On the 3rd day, they encountered a group of celestial race cultivators. This group of celestial race cultivators had a 2nd-level divine master. Lu Ming's group was no match for them, so they turned and fled. Finally, they managed to shake off the celestial race cultivators with the help of the fog. Careful! After shaking off the members of the heavenly human clan, Lu Ming suddenly shouted softly. This was because he sensed a terrifying crisis descending in that instant. At this critical moment, forbidden energy erupted, turning into a ribbon that wrapped around Xian Yinqing, Qiu Moon, and Wan Shun, forcing them to retreat. Swish, swish, swish. Several terrifying bursts of energy descended from the sky, landing where Lu Ming's group had been standing. They struck the ground, creating several craters. Above us, Xian Yinqing roared as the celestial demon domain erupted. Black lotuses appeared in the domain and soared into the sky. Swish, swish, swish. Above them, the fog churned and the terrifying energy howled as a bony claw swiped at them. This attack was simply too fast. From the sneak attack to the second wave of attacks, there was no gap in between. It was so fast that Lu Ming could not even take out the Bingxian rod to block it. Heaven-cleaving style. At this critical moment, Lu Ming could only use the heaven-cleaving style. Spear energy poured out of his pores as his body transformed into a spear and soared into the sky. Cho Moon and Wan Shun hurriedly used all their strength to block this attack. The attacks of the four people collided with the bony claws. With several explosions, Lu Ming's group of four shuddered. They felt a mountain-toppling pressure from the bony claw, and their bodies slammed into the ground like meteors. Plush, Cho Moon was the weakest, so she couldn't help but vomit blood. What a powerful attack! Xian Yinqing's expression turned grave. This bony claws attack was equivalent to a second-level Godlord's attack. However, the fog made it difficult for them to sense the opponent's cultivation. They only knew that this attack was extremely powerful, and it's not from the celestial race. Lu Ming said, the celestial race controlled the power of the heavens, and the attack just now was definitely not the power of the heavens, but the divine power cultivated by the various races of the universe. Who is it? Get out here! Wan Shun roared like a frenzied lion, but the only response they received was another bony claw swiping at them from above. At the same time, the sound of air being torn came from all directions. Because the fog obstructed their vision, they couldn't see what was attacking them, but they were sure that this attack was no small matter. Profound Ice Staff. The profound ice staff appeared in Lu Ming's hand. With a shout, he poured his forbidden energy into the profound ice staff. The profound ice staff rapidly expanded as it swung at the bony claw. Boom! There was a loud roar and the Bingxian rod vibrated violently, causing Lu Ming to retreat continuously. However, the bone claw was also blocked. Moreover, there was a gush of icy coldness covering the bone claw and spreading rapidly. At the same time that Lu Ming attacked, Xian Yinqing's group also attacked, taking out their trump cards. However, they ignored the bony claw above them and focused on dealing with the attacks coming from all directions. Only when they got closer did they realize that the attacks coming from all directions were bone swords. The bone swords were sharp and contained terrifying energy. They constantly clashed with Xian Yinqing's group, suppressing Xian Yinqing's group. Even after using their trump cards, they were still no match. Chapter 4465. Break out of the encirclement. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Xian Yinqing, Cho Moon, and Wan Shun. Then, the four of them gathered together and suddenly rushed in one direction. With the combined strength of the four of them, they finally shattered a few bone swords. Then, they used their movement techniques and ran quickly. After a few exchanges, they understood that the person who attacked them was very strong. Even if they used all their strength, they were definitely not a match for him. As they ran, the person who secretly attacked them chased them relentlessly. Bone swords flew through the air. At the same time, the giant white bone claw in the air condensed again. It emitted a terrifying aura and grabbed at Lu Ming and the others. Break! Lu Ming shouted. He waved the obsidian staff and continued to attack the white bone claw. He blocked the white bone claw's attack. He used the force of this attack to rush forward. At the same time, he swept up Xian Yinqing and the others and accelerated forward. At the same time, Xian Yinqing activated the Heavenly Demon territory to envelop a large area of defense. No matter how the other party hid, they would be enveloped by the Heavenly Demon territory and be greatly restricted. Lu Ming and the others took the opportunity to run forward. It was not convenient to chase in the thick fog, but it was convenient to escape. It did not take long for Lu Ming and the others to successfully shake off the other party. However, the four of them had a grave expression. Lu Ming, who do you think attacked us? If it's not the heavenly human tribe, who else could it be? Wan Shun said. It seems that other than the heavenly human tribe who wants the vitality stone fragments, there are also some other people who want to seize others' vitality stone fragments. Lu Ming said. Xian Yinqing and the rest understood that Lu Ming was referring to someone like them, someone who also had fragments of the primordial stone. Now, there were only two kinds of people in this ancient city. The first kind was the heavenly human tribe. The second kind was like them, people who had vitality stone fragments and were brought in by the vitality stone fragments. And the person who had attacked them was likely someone like them, someone who possessed a fragment of a life soul essence stone. They had been brought in by the fragment. Someone wanted to take advantage of the situation to rob others of their life spirit vitality stones. The Life Spirit Vitality Stone shards only chose top geniuses, but it did not mean that they were all from the younger generation. It was very likely that he was a prodigy of the previous generation. If it was those older geniuses, then their cultivation levels were very likely to have stepped into the Divine Master realm long ago. In a battle between peers, Lu Ming and the others naturally did not fear anyone. However, it was hard to say when it came to fighting across generations. It seemed like the ancient city was getting more and more dangerous. Not only did they have to guard against the heavenly human tribe, but they also had to guard against the other owners of the Life Spirit Source Stone fragments. However, they couldn't stay where they were. Even if they were not looking for treasures, they would still have to make a move in order to get out. If they didn't move when the fog was thick, when the fog receded, there would be celestial race experts everywhere. It would be even more difficult to move. Therefore, Lu Ming's group of 4 did not stop and continued to move forward according to the original plan. Not long after, they made another discovery. They saw a corpse in an alley. It was a blood-red bat with golden wings. A member of the Blood Tribe. It was obvious that this was a Blood Tribe expert. However, this Blood Tribe expert's forehead was pierced by a sword light, killed with a single sword strike. This member of the Blood Race is a first-level Divine Master. Xian Yinqing carefully sized up this person and determined this person's cultivation level based on the remnant aura on his body. Moreover, he wasn't killed by the heavenly human tribe. Lu Ming continued. This Blood Tribe expert had clearly been killed not long ago. There were still remnants of energy in his wounds that had not dissipated. That energy was clearly not the power of the heavens. Could he have been killed by the existence that attacked them earlier? This Blood Tribe expert was very likely the owner of the Life Spirit Source Stone fragment. That was why he was killed. The Soul Spirit Source Stone fragment on him had obviously been taken away. How many people have come this time? The myriad gods whispered. Lu Ming, Xian Yinqing, and the others did not speak. Their brows were tightly knitted. Lu Ming found it difficult to answer this question. He did not know how many fragments the Life Spirit Source Stone had shattered into. A dozen pieces? A few dozen? Apart from the heavenly human tribe, how many people had come this time? Were there any extremely terrifying existences? It felt more and more dangerous in this ancient city. There were murderous intents everywhere. Let's go, Lu Ming said. Since they were already here, they could only give it a try no matter what. The 4 of them continued forward. The next day was calm and peaceful. They did not encounter any danger. However, one day later, there's someone ahead. Suddenly, Lu Ming and the others stopped. This was because they felt that there was someone ahead. Moreover, the person was very close to them, just 1,000 meters away. 1,000 meters away was already beyond the range of their eyesight and spiritual senses. However, a distance of 1,000 meters was too short for them. If they attacked, 1,000 meters would be covered in an instant. There was no difference between 1,000 meters and 1 meter. It could be said that this was a very dangerous distance. Once they attacked, it would be difficult to react in time. Fortunately, the other party did not attack. They seemed to have stopped there and did not move. The atmosphere seemed to have frozen. Lu Ming and the others channeled their power and set up layers of defense around their bodies, ready to attack at any time. Swoosh! Suddenly, there was a sharp sound in front of them. It was piercing toward them. At the same time, there was a cold aura rushing toward them at an astonishing speed. Kill! Lu Ming shouted softly, and the Bingxian staff suddenly enlarged and pressed forward like a mountain. Clang! The Bingxian staff collided with a battle sword. The battle sword vibrated violently and flew back. This sword, Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. This battle sword was rusty and looked very old. This was a great killing weapon, a source-level divine weapon. More importantly, Lu Ming recognized this rusty battle sword. This was Di Jianyi's sword. He had fought with Di Jianyi before. Di Jianyi's great killing weapon was this rusty battle sword. Whoosh! 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 At this moment, a black hole suddenly appeared in the sky. The black hole kept spinning and exploded with a terrifying devouring power. Even the surrounding fog was devoured by the black hole. The surrounding vision suddenly became clearer. It was not a black hole but a flower. Sky-devouring rose flower. Dark Night Rose, it's you. Xian Yinqing's demonic aura spread out. A huge figure appeared around her and pressed its hands toward the black hole. Rumble. The black hole shook violently, and the devouring power was also decreasing. Lu Ming, it's you. Xian Yinqing, it's you. A few figures appeared in succession. So it's you. Die, kill. Wan Shun roared, and his divine power erupted. His body became huge and burly as he controlled more than a dozen origin source secret techniques and attacked in a direction. Over there, the dark aura was extremely dense. A figure turned into dark aura and turned into various demons, ghosts, and skeletons to resist with all his might. That was Yin Juling. End of chapter. Chapter 4466. Boom. On the other side, Autumn Moon brandished his saber and exchanged blows with someone. That person was enveloped in flames. Every move he made caused a strong gust of wind and exuded a terrifyingly high temperature. The aura of the origin ancient word, that's Lingheng. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. The person who was exchanging blows with Autumn Moon was actually the #1 exceptional genius on the universe prodigy list, Lingheng. Lingheng had actually walked together with Anya Rose and the others. Swoosh. In front of him, the iron sword flew over and slashed towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold as he shouted, "Di Jianni, today, I will completely suppress you." Just as his voice fell, Lu Ming took a step forward and charged out like lightning. At the same time, the mysterious Bingxian rod struck down. When the huge mysterious Bingxian rod pressed down, the fog rolled and the void shook. Lu Ming finally saw the figure in front of him clearly. If it wasn't Di Jianni, who else could it be? Di Jianni was controlling the rusty saber. Dang! The saber and rod clashed again, and there was a shocking explosion. However, Di Jianni's fighting power was originally 2 stars lower than Lu Ming's. Although the rusty saber that he controlled was also an origin-level weapon, it still couldn't be compared to the mysterious Bingxian rod. Hence, he wasn't Lu Ming's opponent at all. The saber and rod clashed, and the rusty saber was sent flying. Di Jianni's body shook, and he retreated. He coughed out blood and was severely injured. Di Jianni. Anya Rose shouted and waved her hand. A saber flew towards Lu Ming. The saber quickly enlarged and slashed out, cutting through the void. Hall Guardian weapon. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Back then, he, Ling Yue, Anya Rose, Di Jianni, and Xiu Wuji had explored one of the 9 Life Spirit Halls. In the Life Spirit Hall, they had discovered 2 Hall Guardian weapons. One of them was the mysterious Bingxian rod, which had landed in Lu Ming's hands. The other one was a saber that had landed in Anya Rose's hands. Obviously, it was this one. Lu Ming waved his hand, and the mysterious ice rod blasted out, clashing with the war blade. With a clang, the battle saber was blocked. However, Lu Ming's body also swayed slightly. What power! This Dark Night Rose is indeed someone who has lived a lifetime. The power she can bring out when controlling the divine weapon is clearly stronger than mine. Lu Ming pondered. Dark Night Rose was a reincarnated person. In her previous life, she was Xian Yinqing's pet. However, according to what Xian Yinqing had said, Xian Yinqing had been at reciprocity in his past life. The Dark Night Rose had been at reciprocity as well. They had the experience of reaching Origin Realm, so they were naturally more powerful when controlling divine weapons of the same level. Dark Night Rose, your opponent is me, Xian Yinqing shouted. A huge lotus flower pressed down on Dark Night Rose. Dark Night Rose could only recall her saber to resist. However, how could Dark Night Rose and the others be a match for Lu Ming and the others? They were all at a disadvantage. Lu Ming, Xian Yinqing, we just have different ideologies. There is no big grudge between us. Why did you sneak attack us before? Dark Night Rose shouted. Nonsense. It was you who sneak attacked us just now. Before Lu Ming could answer, the Pantheon god roared and kept attacking like a storm. Yin Juling kept flashing and could only dodge with all his might. However, he was still injured by the powerful force of the Pantheon god. We attacked you? It's a misunderstanding. Stop, this is a misunderstanding. Dark Night Rose shouted and retreated quickly. However, Xian Yinqing controlled the lotus to continue attacking. Shaoqing, wait a minute. Lu Ming shouted. Xian Yinqing stopped and recalled the lotus, but he still stared at Dark Night Rose. Autumn Moon, myriad gods, stop? Lu Ming shouted again. Then, everyone followed Lu Ming's lead. When Lu Ming asked them to stop, Autumn Moon and myriad gods naturally stopped. Yin Juling, Ling Hong, and Di Jinni quickly came to Dark Night Rose's side. Lu Ming realized that besides Yin Juling, Ling Hong, and Di Jinni, there were a few other young men and women. There were 4 other people who came to Dark Night Rose's side. Xiao Wuji. Lu Ming saw Xiao Wuji at first glance. In the past, when Lu Ming's cultivation was still weak, Xiao Wuji had fought with Lu Ming. But then, Xiao Wuji's combat power was far behind Lu Ming's. Although Xiao Wuji had awakened the King Azura bloodline at the beginning, he had had many fortuitous encounters and had received guidance from Dark Night Rose. But his current combat power was 10 stars. Lu Ming had seen Xiao Wuji in the Battle of the Origin in Taishang Immortal City. However, Xiao Wuji, who had 10 stars of combat power, was nothing in Lu Ming's eyes. Xiao Wuji didn't even make it to the end before he was defeated and didn't fight with Lu Ming. But then, Xiao Wuji looked pale and dispirited. He seemed to be injured. Not only him, but the other 3 young men and women were also injured. 2 of them are top geniuses on the Universe Prodigy list. Dark Night Rose's methods are really shocking, Lu Ming exclaimed in his heart. As for the other 3 young men and women, Lu Ming had seen 2 of them before. They were top geniuses on the Universe Prodigy list and were very powerful. But now, they had joined Dark Night Rose. Dark Night Rose had created Huiying Alliance back then to network all the heroes in the world and build a force that was comparable to the Heavenly Palace. Back then, Lu Ming had scoffed, but now, he couldn't help but admire Dark Night Rose's methods. Up until now, the number of geniuses that Dark Night Rose had recruited was already very shocking. These were top geniuses. In the future, even if Huiying Alliance couldn't compare to the Heavenly Palace, it could at least become a powerful force in the primitive universe. Dark Night Rose, you said it was a misunderstanding. Tell me, what misunderstanding is it? Xian Yinqing said coldly. You said that we attacked you. This is a misunderstanding. We didn't attack you. We were attacked ourselves. Previously, I thought that you were secretly attacking us. Dark Night Rose said. You think we didn't attack you just because you said so? Wan Shun said unhappily. Then I would like to ask, how is the combat power of the people who attacked you? Do we have the combat power to do so? Dark Night Rose said. Her words made Wan Shun's expression freeze. Indeed, the people who attacked them previously were very powerful. The 4 of them together weren't a match for them. Dark Night Rose and the others obviously didn't have the strength. If I'm not wrong, the people who attacked you are stronger than us. Similarly, the people who attacked us previously are stronger than you. If I didn't use a special method, I'm afraid we wouldn't have been able to escape. Dark Night Rose said. Looks like it's really a misunderstanding. Lu Ming smiled. In fact, he had thought of this when they exchanged blows earlier. That was why he had asked Xian Yinqing, Autumn Moon, and Wan Shun to stop. But just now, you were the ones who attacked first. The myriad gods said with some displeasure. Chapter 4467. In fact, Di Jinni had already believed the other party's words. Although he looked boorish, he was not reckless. Instead, he was very meticulous and could naturally figure it out. However, Di Jinni was the one who had attacked first, which made him very unhappy. That's why I said it's a misunderstanding. Just now, we felt that someone was watching us in the dark. We were afraid that the person who attacked us would catch up with us, so we took the initiative to attack. Anya Rose explained. Previously, the atmosphere was indeed very tense. Both of them had been attacked in the dark. Hence, when they sensed that there was someone in the dark, they instinctively felt that it was dangerous and that someone had ill intentions towards them. When one party attacked, it naturally led to a huge battle. Hee. Wan Shun chuckled unhappily. Lu Ming, Xian Yinqing, why don't we work together? Anya Rose suddenly turned her gaze and said, Work together? Lu Ming's eyes flickered. That's right. I guess you guys have also been attacked by the heavenly human tribe. In this ancient city, The heavenly human tribe is undoubtedly the strongest. The heavenly human tribe wants to kill us and take our vitality stone fragments. We are definitely no match for the heavenly human tribe alone. Only by working together can we contend against the heavenly human tribe. Onyeros said, even if we work together, we can't contend against the heavenly human tribe with just the two of us. Lu Ming said, although we can't contend against them, we have a higher chance of success. If we encounter the heavenly human tribe, it will be less dangerous. Moreover, we can work together with more people. This time, all of the people who have vitality stone fragments have gathered together. We can all work together. As far as I know, some of them have already joined forces. There is no lack of divine masters among them. As long as we work together, we may be able to contend against the heavenly human tribe. Onyeros said, one had to admit that this woman was indeed very scheming. Although they were both reincarnated, Xian Yinqing was far less scheming than Onyeros. What do you guys think? Lu Ming looked at Xian Yinqing, Autumn Moon, and Wan Shan. Lu Ming, you make the decision. Xian Yinqing said, I'll listen to young master. Autumn Moon nodded repeatedly. Lu Ming, you've always been resourceful. You make the decision, and I'll follow suit. Haha, the myriad god laughed. Seeing this, Dark Knight Rose was very envious. She intended to gather all the heroes in the world to create the Huiying Alliance. Although she had successfully recruited a group of top geniuses, no matter how talented they were, how could they compare to Lu Ming and the others? Putting Lu Ming aside for now, Xian Yinqing and Wan Shan both had 12-star battle prowess. In the Huiying Alliance, only she, as the alliance leader, had such combat power. As for the weakest, Autumn Moon, she had a 9-aperture sacred heart and possessed 11 stars of battle prowess. Her potential was enormous. It would be great if these people could join the Huiying Alliance and become her people. Of course, she could only think about it. All right, I promise you. Lu Ming nodded, agreeing to Dark Knight Rose's request. He had made this decision after careful consideration. If they did not cooperate, it would indeed be very inconvenient for the four of them to move around in the ancient city. Firstly, they had to guard against the heavenly human tribe, and secondly, they had to guard against other people's sneak attacks. It could be said that it was difficult to move an inch. It was not easy to stay alive, let alone obtain any treasures. However, if they cooperated with more people, the situation would at least not worsen. Therefore, Lu Ming agreed to cooperate. All right, then let's leave this place quickly. I happen to know where some people are. We can go and find them. Dark Knight Rose. Immediately, Lu Ming's group of 4 and Dark Knight Rose's group left this place. Dark Knight Rose led the way and flew in a direction. Of course, it was impossible for Lu Ming and the others to completely trust Dark Knight Rose and the others. It was not that easy. Similarly, Dark Knight Rose and the others could not completely trust Lu Ming and the others. On the surface, the two sides were cooperating, but they were still wary of each other. In the blink of an eye, a few days had passed. Although they had encountered the heavenly human tribe in the past few days, they had avoided them in advance. In addition, they did not encounter any attacks from other people. It seemed that after they joined forces, the other party was also afraid of their strength. After a few days, the fog dissipated. They did not move forward anymore, but found a hidden place to stay. They would wait for the fog to reappear half a month later before continuing their journey. After a few days, Dijiani, Xiaowuji, and the others had recovered from their injuries. They were all seizing the time to cultivate. The people here had reached the peak of the 9th layer of the Divine Lord Realm. The next step was to break through to the Divine Lord Realm. They were all preparing to break through to the Divine Lord Realm, especially Dark Knight Rose and Xian Yinqing, who were the closest to the Divine Lord Realm. They were cultivating all the time, preparing to break through to the Divine Lord Realm. 15 days passed in the blink of an eye. Then, the fog rose again. Lu Ming and the others set off again, moving forward with the help of the fog. After a few days, they arrived at a place full of rocks. The Life Spirit Heavenly Court was too big. It was even bigger than the Dragon Tribe's mother planet. Naturally, it was not all kinds of buildings. There were many other complicated terrains. For example, this area was full of rocks. These rocks were tall and majestic. Some were like mountains, some were like sharp swords, and some were even like various living beings. These rocks seem to have formed some kind of formation, Xian Yinqing whispered. It has indeed formed some kind of formation. It's easy to get lost, but it shouldn't be difficult for us to get in and out, Dark Knight Rose said to Xian Yinqing. After all, they were experts of the origin realm in their previous lives. They were experienced and knowledgeable. This kind of formation formed by rocks was not particularly profound. It could not trap them. There are some people in these rocks. Let's go in, Dark Knight Rose said. After saying that, she rushed into the rocks first. Di Jiani, Yin Jiuling, Ling Hong, Xiao Wuji and the others followed closely behind. Let's go too, Lu Ming said and followed them into the rocks. As soon as they entered the rocks, the surrounding rocks seemed to move on their own. But when they looked closely, they did not seem to move. However, Lu Ming found that the terrain had changed. The surroundings seemed to be full of rocks, and it was difficult to distinguish the direction. It's really a formation. But this formation is not profound. Lu Ming was also proficient in formations in the past. Although he had fallen behind in these years, his foundation was still there. After careful observation, he found something fishy. However, Dark Knight Rose and Xian Yinqing found it earlier. They took the lead and moved in one direction. 2 hours later, who are you? Stand there. If you continue to move forward, we will attack. Suddenly, a cold voice sounded out. Everyone, don't misunderstand. We also have the fragments of the Life Spirit Vitality Stone. We want to cooperate with you to fight against the heavenly human tribe together. Dark Knight Rose said hurriedly. It's you, Lu Ming, Xian Yinqing, Dark Knight Rose, Wan Shun. Suddenly, there were a few exclamations. Obviously, someone recognized Lu Ming and the others. Chapter 4468. Someone recognized Lu Ming and the others and exclaimed in shock. Now, only the heavenly human tribe in this ancient city would not recognize Lu Ming and the others since they had been cooped up in one place for thousands of years. It would be hard not to recognize Lu Ming and the others if they had Dream Sacred Jade in a bigger place. Of course, it would be a different story if they did not have Dream Sacred Jade in places like the Taishu dynasty. As a few shocked voices rang out, a figure flashed, and a dozen figures appeared in the surrounding rubble. Among them, there were 5 young people. The rest were either middle-aged or elderly. Lu Ming and the others were not surprised. It was impossible for all of them to have Life Spirit Vitality Stone fragments. It was possible that only the young ones had them, and the older ones did not. They just happened to come in together. For example, Xian Yinqing, Qiu Qiuyu, and Wan Shun did not have Life Spirit Vitality Stone fragments. They had come in like Lu Ming. It was the same for the others. For example, Anya Rose and the others did not have Life Spirit Vitality Stone fragments. In fact, only Anya Rose, Di Jiani, and Xiao Wuji had Life Spirit Vitality Stone fragments. The others were brought in by Anya Rose, mainly for opportunities. These few people, Lu Ming looked around and realized that there were a few young people who were on the Universe Prodigy list. They were ranked very high. One of them was even in the top 10 of the Universe Prodigy list. Everyone, how about we work together? Anya Rose asked again. You were attacked by the heavenly human tribe too? Asked one of the young people. His name was Bei Ao, and he was ranked 5th on the Universe Prodigy list. He was an absolute demon with a battle power of 10 stars. That's right. The heavenly human tribe came 3,000 years ago, and there are many of them. As far as I know, there are more than 20 almighty beings. Now, they are hunting people who have Life Spirit Vitality Stone fragments. If we don't work together, we will be defeated one by one and be robbed of our Life Spirit Vitality Stone fragments, Anya Rose said. Dark Knight Rose said, wanting to facilitate this cooperation. In fact, Dark Knight Rose didn't care about these young men at all. The strongest among them was Bei Ao, who only had a battle prowess of 10 stars. He was not enough to be defeated by her with a single slap. She was only interested in the older ones. These people were most likely the elders or subordinates of those young men. Their auras were astonishing, and no less than 5 of them had reached the Divine Master realm. With the addition of these people, their strength would definitely increase greatly. All right, I agree to cooperate. What about you? Baeo said as he looked at the other young men. I have no objections. Now it seems that we can only deal with the heavenly human tribe by working together. The other young men nodded in agreement. Since both sides had no objections, they naturally hit it off and quickly reached an agreement. Then, it was time to discuss the details. In the end, everyone decided to find more people to work with. It would be best to gather all the people who had fragments of vitality stones together to fight against the heavenly human tribe. At the same time, they would work together to find the ancient ruins in the heavenly court. As long as they had enough people working with them, they would have enough life spirit vitality stone fragments in their hands. At that time, if they encountered something similar to what the heavenly human tribe encountered and needed enough life spirit vitality stone fragments to open, they would be able to open it directly. As for the treasures inside, it would depend on their own abilities. After discussing, they planned to send people to the vicinity of this rocky area. As long as they saw living beings who were not from the heavenly human tribe passing by, they would pull them over to cooperate. Of course, their base camp was still in this rocky area. This rocky area formed a formation. Once the heavenly human tribe attacked, they could use the formation here to easily escape. Even if the fog dissipated, they could still escape. If there was no fog in other places, once they were surrounded by the heavenly human tribe, it would be difficult to escape. Lu Ming, Rose, and the others first familiarized themselves with the operation of the formation in this rocky area. After a few days, when they were completely familiar with it, Lu Ming and the others scattered around the rocky area and waited for others to pass by. As for looking for people to cooperate with, it was too unrealistic and too dangerous. They could only wait in the vicinity. They cultivated and waited at the same time. When there was no fog, the heavenly human tribe would also come to this area to investigate. However, once they sensed the heavenly human tribe approaching, they would hide in advance. Therefore, the heavenly human tribe would fail every time. Just like that, time flew by. Soon, Lu Ming and the others had been in this area for more than half a year. In this more than half a year, their team grew stronger and stronger. Now, there were almost 50 people in total. Of course, there were only a dozen people who actually had fragments of vitality stones. The rest of the people had followed along. Among them, there were as many as 10 divine masters. This gave them a lot of confidence. Among the 10 divine masters, the strongest was a second-level divine master. There were a total of 3 second-level divine masters. This was also the reason why their team could exist. There was no imbalance in strength. If one of them was especially strong, such as a third-level divine master, it would be very difficult for them to cooperate. It was very likely that the third-level divine master would directly attack the others and steal their fragments of vitality stones. 3 second-level divine masters and 7 first-level divine masters could form a restriction. Only by cooperating could they achieve success. At this time, the group decided to leave this rocky area. They were going to look for opportunities in the Life Soul Heavenly Court. This was the Life Soul Heavenly Court. Everyone was tempted. If they could find one of the 3 legendary treasures of the Life Soul Heavenly Court, they might be able to soar. This was especially true for the weaker geniuses, such as Baeo, who were even more excited. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Rose, and the others were now looking down on the younger generation of the primitive universe. They were envious, jealous, and even more eager to obtain the treasures of the Life Soul Heavenly Court. Once they obtained them, they might surpass Lu Ming and the others. They could look down on the primitive universe and suppress an era. The group chose to leave the rocky area during a period of fog and headed toward the center of the Life Soul Heavenly Court. The more people there were, the braver they became. They sped up. Nearly 50 figures flashed forward in the fog. Suddenly, a scream rang out. Damn it, it's the heavenly human tribe. Friends, kill them. Kill them all. A loud roar came from the front left. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and the others heard the roar and immediately rushed toward the front left. According to the agreement, no matter who was attacked by the heavenly human tribe, the others had to go and help. However, when Lu Ming and the others arrived, there was no need for them to do anything. This was because the dozen or so heavenly human tribe members had been surrounded. At this time, the heavenly human tribe members were pale. They looked at the 50 people around them in a daze. End of chapter. Chapter 4469. What are you trying to do? Are you going to rebel? I recognize you. Devil race, blood race, Buddha race. One of the celestial clan members shouted loudly. His eyes were cold as he threatened everyone. Humph, even at a time like this, you're still threatening us? Simply laughable. If we don't kill you, you'll kill us. Dark Knight Rose said. That's right. As long as we kill them all, who will know that we did it? Lu Ming continued. You two brats, you're courting death. The eyes of the Divine Master Realm heavenly human widened as he stared at Lu Ming and Dark Knight Rose. He wanted nothing more than to eat them alive. However, his heart was trembling. He was a first-tier Divine Master. However, there were a total of 10 first-layer Divine Masters surrounding him. Even though he was confident that the fighting strength of the celestial race far surpassed those of the same level, there was still a second-layer Divine Master among them. He would definitely be no match for them and would be killed. Originally, he wanted to threaten these people. Most of these people were from races under the rule of the Heavenly Palace. Threatening them might work. After all, the heavenly human tribe had accumulated too much power. Originally, he had already seen fear in some people's eyes. However, because of Dark Knight Rose and Lu Ming's words, the fear in their eyes disappeared and was replaced by cold killing intent. Damn it, he really wanted to skin Lu Ming and Dark Knight Rose alive. Everyone, what are you still standing there for? Hurry up and attack. Once the heavenly human race's reinforcements arrive, the ones who won't be able to escape will be us. Lu Ming shouted. Little bastard, shut up. The heavenly human clan's Divine Master roared. Kill. Lu Ming shouted and punched out. A fist energy rushed towards the celestial race expert. Pull one hair, and the whole body will be affected. As soon as Lu Ming made his move, the others immediately followed suit. Kill. Wave after wave of attacks rained down on the heavenly human tribe members. There were so many experts, including 10 Divine Lords and 3 second-level Divine Lords. These heavenly humans simply couldn't withstand them. They roared, they threatened, they despaired, and they were killed. After a single wave of attacks, the dozen or so heavenly humans were all killed. Then, they burned the corpses of the dozen or so celestial race cultivators and quickly left this place. Awesome. Yeah, it's so F***king satisfying. Killing the heavenly humans is so satisfying. That's right. These heavenly humans are usually high and mighty. It's as if other than the heavenly humans, all the other races in the universe are ants. It's really annoying to look at them. This time, if I have the chance, I'll kill a few more. Some people discussed in secret, their eyes filled with excitement. These people had been oppressed by the heavenly human tribe for too long. Now that they had killed more than a dozen heavenly human tribe members, they immediately felt refreshed. They continued forward. In the following day, they didn't encounter anyone from the heavenly human tribe. Gradually, the crowd became bolder. The distance between them gradually widened and widened. After all, they belonged to more than 10 different factions. Although they had cooperated, they all had their own thoughts. Once they encountered any fortuitous encounter, they could take it for themselves and not share it with others. In the end, there's still a sheet of loose sand. If they really encounter a third-level Divine Master from the heavenly human tribe, they probably won't be able to withstand a single blow. Lu Ming shook his head inwardly. Third-level Divine Masters were much stronger than second-level Divine Masters. With the strength of so many people, if they worked together, they might even be able to contend against a third-level Divine Master. However, looking at the situation, it would be difficult for them to work together if they really encountered danger. Suddenly, 2 screams came from the right side. However, after these 2 screams, they immediately fell silent. The expressions of the others changed. Were they attacked by the heavenly human tribe again? Let's go and take a look. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Autumn Moon, Wan Shun, Dark Knight Rose, and the others quickly rushed in the direction of the screams. When they arrived, they saw 2 corpses. One was a young man, and the other was an old man. At this moment, there were already some people surrounding them. These people's expressions were somewhat ugly. This was because the old man was a first-level divine master. What's going on? Don't you see the heavenly human tribe? Someone asked among the people who arrived later. No. When we arrived, we saw that they were already killed. However, we didn't see anyone else. He was also a divine master. I don't see anyone else. Could it be that the celestial race immediately retreated after they succeeded in killing the celestial race? Are they hiding in the dark, waiting for an opportunity to attack? Someone said, his expression becoming serious. Many people involuntarily scanned their surroundings. They were incomparably vigilant, fearing that the celestial tribe's experts would suddenly attack. Has the Yuan Road's life, spirit Yuan stone fragment disappeared? Dark Knight Rose asked. Yuan Lu was the young man who had been killed. That's right. His primordial stone fragment has indeed disappeared. A divine master old man replied. Let me take a look at his wound, Dark Knight Rose said. There's no need to look anymore. We've already examined them. It was indeed done by the celestial race. There's heavenly power left in their wounds, the old man from before said. However, Dark Knight Rose didn't pay attention to him. She walked over and checked carefully. Then, Dark Knight Rose retreated expressionlessly. She came to Lu Ming's side and said, Lu Ming, why don't you go and have a look too? Oh? Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Dark Knight Rose also asked him to have a look. Could it be that she had discovered something? Lu Ming also walked over. He used his spiritual senses to check the wounds of the two men. Suddenly, Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. However, the expression on his face did not change at all. He also retreated without saying a word. It seems that the celestial race is really hiding in the dark. We have to be careful later. Someone said. We were too scattered and too far away from each other before. That's why the celestial race had an opportunity to take advantage of us. Later, they'll be closer. That's right. Everyone chimed in one after another. Lu Ming, let's stay closer to each other. What do you think? Dark Knight Rose transmitted her voice to Lu Ming. Of course, Lu Ming replied. After a while, they continued to set off. However, they did not dare to be too far apart from each other. Instead, they gathered together and continued to move forward. In particular, Lu Ming and Dark Knight Rose's groups were even closer to each other. For the next half a day, there was no movement at all. The celestial race did not continue to attack. Everyone's hearts relaxed a little. It seemed that as long as they gathered together, the celestial race would not dare to attack. They were afraid of their strength. However, Lu Ming, Dark Knight Rose, and the others did not think much of it. They could kill a first-layer divine master with a single blow and disappear without a trace before the others arrived. Would they be afraid of them? End of chapter. Chapter 4470. Lu Ming, Anya Rose, and the others didn't dare to relax. They were constantly looking around. Suddenly, in the thick fog, a few more screams were heard. Who is it? You're courting death. Then, a few angry roars were heard. A few attacks were launched in that direction, but after one attack, they stopped. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. The others rushed over, but they only saw 3 corpses. Among the corpses, one was a young genius. Everyone recognized him. He was a genius on the universe genius list, but he was dead. The other corpses were a middle-aged man and an old man. The middle-aged man had the strength of the 9th great supreme god layer, and the old man was a godly master. Now, they were all dead. What's going on? We were so close. How could they kill us? Why didn't I sense anything? Did you see them? No. Everyone was talking at once. The more they talked, the uglier their faces became. They were already very close to each other, but they were still ambushed. A divine master expert and a genius were killed, and a life spirit origin stone fragment was taken away. How did they do it? Of course, they couldn't be within 100 meters of each other. They were at least a few hundred meters away from each other. A few hundred meters was really close to them. They could arrive in a blink of an eye. Although their vision was limited to 100 meters in this place, They would be able to detect the slightest movement in an instant. Logically speaking, it was difficult for the heavenly human tribe to ambush them at such a close distance. But the fact was, someone was really ambushed and killed. Without anyone noticing, by the time the others arrived, the enemy had already disappeared. This was a bit strange. Damn the heavenly human tribe. How did they do it? Damn it! Some people roared. They were furious, but there was nothing they could do. At this time, Lu Ming and Anya Rose went forward to check the wounds. Then, they looked at each other and retreated. No matter what, they had to continue walking. Everyone calmed down and continued on their journey. But this time, they were more cautious. More than 40 people gathered within 100 meters. They moved forward under the double detection of sight and spiritual awareness. This time, there was no movement for a few days, and they were not attacked by the heavenly human tribe. Could it be that the heavenly human tribe saw that we were gathered together and couldn't do anything, so they left? It's very likely that we're heading in the opposite direction of Yi Wu of the heavenly human tribe. We're getting further and further away from the heavenly human tribe. It's normal for them to leave after seeing that they can't do anything to us. However, I still can't let my guard down. Everyone discussed for a moment. Another day later, the fog receded. His field of vision suddenly widened, and his spiritual sense was no longer obstructed. He was able to explore very far places. Everyone immediately extended their spiritual senses to investigate, but in the end, they found nothing. Look around. Many people flew up and flew in all directions to see if there were any traces of the heavenly human tribe. Now that the fog had retreated, there was one advantage, and that was that there was no need to worry about sneak attacks. Even though they were very far away, everyone could still see each other. If there was any movement, the others would be able to help in an instant. However, even after searching a large area, they still couldn't find any traces of the heavenly human tribe. There was no trace of the heavenly human tribe's aura either. Only then did everyone heave a sigh of relief. It seemed that the heavenly human tribe had really retreated. With a wide field of vision and no heavenly human tribe around, everyone sped up. It had to be said that the ancient city was really huge. Moreover, they couldn't fully utilize their speed here. After a few days of traveling, they were still in the outer area. They had not reached the core area yet. Look, that mountain is very special. Suddenly, someone pointed at a large mountain in the distance. Everyone looked over, and their expressions changed. The mountain was shaped like a ferocious beast. Its mouth was wide open, but there was a stone door in its mouth. The stone door was closed. Other than that, there were no other doors around it. Everyone's eyes flickered. There was indeed something strange about that mountain. The various buildings that they had encountered before could be entered at will, but there were no stone doors in those buildings. However, that place was different. The stone door was closed. Could there be treasures in that mountain? Everyone's eyes immediately lit up. Let's go. Needless to say, everyone rushed toward the mountain. Soon, they arrived not far away from the stone door. Someone directly attacked and blasted out a burst of energy, bombarding the stone door. Boom! When the energy hit the stone door, dense runes suddenly appeared on and around the stone door, blocking the energy. In array formation, everyone's hearts skipped a beat, and they became even more excited. That was the first time they had seen a place protected by a rune array formation after entering the ancient city. There might really be treasures inside. The heavenly court has been destroyed by the heavenly palace for countless years. Even if there is a rune array formation, it must not be very powerful after so many years. If we join forces and attack it together, we will definitely be able to destroy this rune array formation. Someone suggested. Of course, no one objected. They all attacked. Powerful attacks bombarded the stone door. The stone door rumbled and exploded. The sound spread far and wide, causing everyone's hearts to tremble. They were afraid that it would attract the powerhouses of the heavenly human tribe. However, in the face of a possible treasure, no one was willing to give up. That was a treasure left behind by the heavenly court. What if it was a heaven-defying treasure? Everyone gritted their teeth and continued to attack. In the blink of an eye, half a day had passed. Fortunately, It did not attract the attention of the heavenly human tribe. However, what made everyone speechless was that after half a day of bombardment, the stone door still did not move. Looking at the runes on the array formation, the light did not seem to have weakened. This rune array formation is so difficult to break. If this continues, we might not be able to break it even after a few months. It will be troublesome if the powerhouses of the heavenly human tribe are attracted. Someone said, "Let's see if the vitality stone fragments are useful. Let's take them out and try." An old man suggested. The old man's name was Chu Yi, and he was one of the 3 second-level divine master experts. Moreover, this old man was very special because he controlled a vitality stone fragment. The other older people had followed the younger people and did not have life spirit primordial stone fragments themselves. This was because the vitality stone fragments would choose the more talented people as their masters. All right, let's try it together. Hearing Chu Yi's words, everyone nodded and had no objections. Then, they took out the life spirit vitality stone fragments. Buzz, buzz. As soon as the vitality stone fragments were taken out, they trembled slightly and resonated with each other. End of chapter. Chapter 4471. When everyone took out their life spirit vitality stone fragments, all of them resonated with each other and emitted a rich light. The radiance gathered together and flew towards the stone door. When the radiance enveloped the stone door, the runes on and around the stone door quickly melted like snow meeting fire. It works. Everyone's eyes lit up. It turned out that the natal spirit stone fragments were really useful. With enough natal spirit stone fragments, one could really open some ancient ruins in the natal spirit heavenly court. Could it be that the natal spirit stone fragments were equivalent to a key? That was really possible. In just a few breaths, the runes around the stone door had completely disappeared. Boom! Someone made a move and continued to blast out a beam of energy, bombarding the stone door. This time, there was no rune array blocking it. With a click, the stone door opened under the force of the energy. Many people's eyes lit up and they could not hold back. In a flash, they rushed into the stone door. Let's go. Let's go too. Those who had fragments of life, spirit primordial stones, put them away and led their people towards the stone door. Lu Ming, Xian Yinqing, Autumn Moon, Wan Shun, Anya Rose, and the others also rushed into the stone door. Behind the stone door was a passageway. It was obvious that this passageway had been forcefully carved out of the mountain, and it was slanted downwards. Everyone followed the passageway, and before long, they arrived at a huge underground space. This underground space was very wide, and one could not see the end of it. It was like a world. What a rich divine qi, and what a rich metal qi. Lu Ming and the group's hearts stirred as they looked around. This underground space had an extremely special environment. It had an extremely rich divine qi that floated in the air like a mist, as if it was about to materialize. At the same time, it had an extremely rich metal qi. Rare metal materials could probably be born here. I'll breathe, I'll breathe, I'll breathe, breathe, breathe. On Lu Ming's wrist, Qiuqiu opened its mouth and tried its best to absorb the metal qi in the air. It was obvious how rich the metal qi was. Even Qiuqiu was alarmed. Look, what's that? Someone exclaimed and looked at the stone door in front of them. Everyone flew over and arrived before the stone tablet. The stone tablet wasn't big. It was only 10 feet tall, and there were some words written on it. The ancient Chaotic Heaven sword is Divine Lord Chaotic Heaven's personal sword. It fought alongside Divine Lord Chaotic Heaven for half of his life, and after it was destroyed, it was sealed here. These were the words on the stone tablet. At this moment, everyone realized that there was a big box under the stone tablet. It was impossible to tell what material the chest was made of, but it was covered with magical symbols that formed a spell formation that constantly absorbed the god items and metal energy in the area. Could it be that the ancient Chaotic Heaven sword is in this chest? Unfortunately, it's a broken sword. Even if it's a broken sword, it's still a main-grade divine weapon. If it's well preserved, the materials used to refine it can be used to forge a main-grade divine weapon. Not bad. Open it and take a look. Immediately, several people made their moves. The rune array on the big box was not a defensive array. It was only used to absorb the surrounding divine artifacts and metal chi, so it could be easily destroyed. In just a few moments, the rune array on the box was destroyed, and then the box was opened. Immediately, a powerful sword chi rushed out of the chest. Furthermore, a dense black fog appeared. Within the mist, there seemed to be souls howling and howling. What powerful sword chi! Look, it's a sword. Several people cried out in alarm. Everyone looked over, and sure enough, there was a pitch-black battle sword in the chest. However, this sword was not complete. The tip of the sword had been broken, but it still retained a powerful intelligence. This could be seen from the sword chi it exuded. Such powerful sword chi. This sword is definitely a main-grade divine weapon, and a top-class one at that. Although it's broken, it's been preserved too well. Its intelligence is intact. If a master artificer were to extract the materials inside and combine them with other materials, he might be able to forge a new main-grade divine weapon. I want this sword. Swish. Someone reached out to grab the ancient chaotic heaven sword in the box. But how could the others just give it up? They immediately made their own moves. Boom, boom, boom. After exchanging a few blows, they were forced to retreat and stand off. I found this steel first. You want to fight with me? A youth shouted. Who said you found it first? You were the first to speak. So you found it first? This old man found it before you even spoke. An old man sneered. I found it as soon as I entered. Another youth called out. No one was willing to back down. This old man wants this ancient sword. Suddenly, Chewie made his move. He took a step forward, unleashing a berserk aura that forced the others back. Then, he reached out to grab the ancient chaotic heaven sword. He was a second-level godlord, so the others would find it difficult to contend against him. Only the other two godlords could contend against him, but their eyes flickered several times, but they did not make a move. It was not worth it to risk their lives against an expert of the same level for a broken main-grade divine weapon. In the end, the ancient chaotic heaven sword fell into Chu Yi's hands. Eat. I want to eat. I want to eat. Qiuqiu struggled on his wrist, but he was suppressed by Lu Ming. It's really good stuff, but this old man is too strong. He's hard to deal with, Lu Ming sighed softly. This broken ancient sword was well-preserved and full of spirituality. It was a great supplement for Qiuqiu. Lu Ming really wanted to snatch it for Qiuqiu to eat and increase his strength. Qiuqiu's strength had fallen too far behind theirs. Qiuqiu was in a miserable state in Zenith's Supreme Immortal City because his strength had not increased by much. Qiuqiu could only continuously increase his strength by continuously absorbing metallic materials or divine weapons made of metal. He was not interested in the divine medicines mentioned above and had no effect on them. The desolation pills in Zenith's Supreme Immortal City were great supplements for others and could allow their cultivation to advance by leaps and bounds, but their effects were limited for Qiuqiu. Refining the desolation pills made Qiuqiu's strength increase very slowly. The weapons and pill furnaces in Zenith's Supreme Immortal City were protected by the intents and laws of Zenith's Supreme Immortal City, so Qiuqiu could not eat them at all. During his 50 years in Zenith's Supreme Immortal City, Qiuqiu had found several pieces of special metals. However, the metals in Zenith's Supreme Immortal City were no small matter. Qiuqiu had only found 3 pieces, and after refining them, his cultivation had increased by leaps and bounds. He was now at the 6th level of the Great Supreme God Realm, but compared to Lu Ming and the others, he was still too weak. Lu Ming wanted to find some precious metals or high-level broken divine weapons for Qiuqiu to devour. The ancient chaotic heaven sword was a very good food. End of chapter. Chapter 4472. The ancient chaotic heaven sword was a top-grade divine weapon, and the materials used to forge it were extremely precious. If Qiuqiu had devoured it, it would have been of great help. Unfortunately, it had fallen into Chu Yi's hands. Trying to take it from a second-level godlord was tantamount to snatching food from a tiger's mouth. There's also a steal over there. All of a sudden, someone shouted softly. Everyone hurriedly looked over. While this person was speaking, someone had already charged over. Let's go. Everyone's figure moved, and they rushed over there. There was indeed a steel there, almost identical to the one on the ancient chaotic heaven sword. Boom. At this moment, a great battle had already broken out, divine power bursting forth. The first few groups of people to arrive had already begun to attack. By the time Lu Ming and the others arrived, they discovered that there was indeed a large chest under the steel. The chest had already been opened, and terrifying ripples were emanating from within. These ripples were boundless and lofty, as if they were the origin of everything, the core of the universe. Origin. This was a source-level divine weapon. At this moment, everyone's hearts trembled, their eyes blazing with desire. The remaining 8 god lords in particular had even more fervent looks in their eyes. The 8 divine lord realm experts all charged at the chest. Then, a great battle erupted. The chaotic battle between the 8 god lords was incomparably intense. Terrifying ripples of energy swept out in all directions like a terrifying wave. Those below the god lord level retreated. Only a small number of people were able to block this wave of energy. For example, Lu Ming's group and Anya Rose's group had to be at least a 9th level god emperor to be able to stabilize themselves. However, Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Anya Rose, and the others did not move. Although there was a source-level divine weapon in the chest, it was clearly incomplete, with only half of it remaining. Of course, it was very well preserved, and its spirituality was still present. If one could extract the materials within, it would still fetch an astonishing price. However, it was truly too difficult to take it from the hands of 8 greedy god lords. Moreover, there were 3 second-level god lords. Even if they could take it, they would become a target for everyone. The 8 god lords exchanged several dozen blows, and the battle grew more and more intense. Kill! Chui roared as his sword pierced through the forehead of a first-tier divine lord. Destructive sword chi instantly obliterated this person's soul and cosmic bridge. A first-layer divine master expert had fallen. Bang! At the same time, another first-layer divine master was struck by a second-layer divine master. His body was torn apart, and as he screamed, his body and soul were destroyed. In the blink of an eye, 2 first-layer divine lords had been killed. Out of the 8, only 6 remained. 3 second-level divine masters and 3 third-level divine masters. At this moment, the 3 first-layer divine masters were greatly shocked. They retreated frantically, not daring to participate in the fight. The difference in strength between a first-level divine master and a second-level divine master was still too great. Fighting over treasures among second-level divine masters was an act of courting death. Boom, boom, boom. There were still 3 second-layer divine masters left, and the battle became even more intense. All sorts of killing moves were unleashed, and the sky darkened. One could see that of the 3, Chui was slightly stronger. In this chaotic battle, he slowly gained the upper hand, almost obtaining the damaged soul-level divine weapon several times. However, each time Chui was about to obtain it, the other 2 would work together to push him back. In the blink of an eye, the 2 sides had exchanged more than 100 blows. All 3 of them were injured, and their auras were rather weak. They retreated, cautiously looking at each other. Everyone, let's stop fighting. We weren't strong to begin with, and if we continue to suffer losses, if we leave this place and run into the celestial race, we'll probably all be wiped out. That won't do anyone any good. At this moment, Dark Knight Rose stood out and said, "That's true, but who will this damaged soul-level divine weapon belong to?" A second-layer divine Lord Elder asked, "Senior, why are you so concerned about this damaged divine weapon? I estimate that this place is where the Life-Soul Heavenly Court buried the damaged divine weapon. There are probably more in other places. Some people have already gone to other places to search. If the 3 of you continue to fight like this, the gains will not make up for the losses." Onyero said. Just now, some people had indeed left to search in other directions. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and the others were also planning to leave. The eyes of the 3 second-layer divine lords flashed. They knew that Onyero's words were reasonable, but they were still unwilling to give up the soul-level divine weapon in front of them. This damaged soul-level divine weapon in front of them truly existed. There might not be any other damaged divine weapons in other places. And even if there were, there might not be any damaged soul-level divine weapons. The two of you, this damaged soul-level divine weapon is of great use to this old man. How about you give it to this old man? This old man can compensate you. Chewie said. The other two second-layer divine lords inwardly looked at him with disdain. Who wouldn't be of use to a damaged soul-level divine weapon? Only you would be of use to it? Compensation? What kind of compensation do you want to give? In the end, another second-level divine master spoke. He was still somewhat wary of Chewie's strength. Chewie was indeed slightly stronger among the three of them. Moreover, continuing the battle would be disadvantageous for them. He might not be able to take this damaged divine weapon in the end. More importantly, there might really be damaged soul-level divine weapons in other places. Many people had already gone there, so he was getting anxious. I will compensate you with some primary divine medicines and divine pills. I guarantee that you will be satisfied. Chewie said, Let's go. While Chewie's group was discussing, Lu Ming, Xian Yinqing, Qiu Moon, and Wan Shun had already left to search elsewhere. At the same time, Anya Rose led her group away. The three second-layer divine lords were even more anxious when they saw this. Not willing to delay, they casually discussed the compensation and left after receiving it. Chewie also obtained the damaged soul-level divine weapon as he wished. There should be more in this place. Chewie's eyes burned with passion as he also left. The group spread out to search the underground space. Lu Ming, Xian Yinqing, and the others didn't have to search for long before they found a stone steel. The four of them hurriedly rushed over. God Lord Fan Ye's divine weapon, the Myriad Leaves halberd, was destroyed and buried here. These were the words carved on the stone steel. There was indeed a large chest beneath the stone steel. The chest was covered in runes that absorbed the energy of the divine weapon and metal. The four worked together to break open the rune array on the chest. After opening it, they saw a damaged halberd. This was a broken primary-grade divine weapon. Eat, I want to eat. Qiu couldn't hold himself back and began to struggle on his wrist. He bared his teeth and sent sparks flying. For you. Lu Ming grabbed the broken halberd in the air and passed it to Qiu. End of this chapter. Chapter 4473. Lu Ming handed the broken halberd to Qiu. Qiu was overjoyed. It flew out from Lu Ming's wrist, opened its mouth, and swallowed the broken halberd. Then, it revealed a satisfied and intoxicated expression. Lu Ming, it would be great if you could find me a few broken source-level mystical weapons. A few broken source-level mystical weapons? This guy, Lu Ming, was a little speechless. This guy was really insatiable. Source-level mystical weapons, even if they were broken, were not that easy to find. In the primitive universe, even broken source-level mystical weapons were considered great treasures. They were controlled by the powerful races and were extremely precious. Even in the merit exchange hall of the Heavenly Palace, there were no broken source-level mystical weapons. The best they had were broken master-level mystical weapons. Back then, Lu Ming had exchanged a few broken mystical weapons worth 1,000,000 merit points for Qiu. They were broken master-level mystical weapons. The Heavenly Palace also treated broken source-level mystical weapons as treasures. Why would they exchange them? This was also the place where the Heavenly Palace buried the broken mystical weapons. It was possible for them to appear here. It was very, very difficult to buy a broken source-level mystical weapon in the universe. Even if one had the money, one might not be able to buy one. Also, Autumn Moon doesn't have a source-level mystical weapon yet. If there's a chance, I have to get one for Autumn Moon, Lu Ming thought to himself. Now, Lu Ming, Xian Yinqing, and Wan Shen all had source-level mystical weapons. Only Autumn Moon's weapon was still a master-level mystical weapon. This would have a significant impact on Autumn Moon's strength. Lu Ming planned to find a source-level mystical weapon for Autumn Moon. Of course, a source-level mystical weapon could only be found by chance. I'll try my best to find one for you. Digest it well, Lu Ming said to the ball. Qiu's round body happily spun a few large circles before returning to Lu Ming's wrist. It transformed into a bracelet and began to digest that main-grade divine armament. Lu Ming and the other three continued to search in other directions. Not long after, they saw another stone tablet. However, the large chest below the stone tablet was already empty. Clearly, someone else had taken the lead. Lu Ming and the other three sped up. Finally, after a while, they saw another stone tablet. The divine weapon of Han Shun Yuanzun, broken beyond repair, was buried here as a memorial. The words on the stone tablet made Lu Ming's heart beat faster. An origin exalt. This was a divine weapon at the origin realm. Could it be a source-level divine weapon? Lu Ming wasn't sure either. After all, a source-level divine weapon was too precious. There were extremely few source-level divine weapons in the primitive universe. Some of the weaker origin realm experts didn't even have a source-level divine weapon. Only a small number of source-level divine weapons in the primitive universe were forged by the experts of the primitive universe. Most of them were found in the ruins of the universe. They were products left behind from the previous era. Every path led to the origin. At the origin realm, many things were interconnected, whether it was weapons or other things. Therefore, although this was a divine weapon left behind by an origin realm expert, it might not be a source-level divine weapon. Open it and let's see. Lu Ming and the other three took action, constantly destroying the rune formation on the large chest. Not long after, the rune formation was broken. Lu Ming waved his hand and opened the chest. A vast aura permeated out. This aura was extremely shocking. It was extremely similar to the broken halberd that had caused the battle between Chu Yi and the others. Source-level divine weapon. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Qiu jumped out from Lu Ming's wrist excitedly. Congratulations, young master. Qiu Moon was also full of smiles. Then I'll use this divine weapon to feed this guy. Lu Ming looked at Xian Yinqing and Wan Shun. What are you looking at me for? Is there a difference between your item and mine? Xian Yinqing rolled his eyes at Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. Ha ha ha, Lu Ming, take it. As long as it's useful to you, take it. You don't need to ask me. I already have a source-level divine weapon. Wan Shun laughed straightforwardly. Lu Ming nodded. He didn't hold back anymore and extended his hand to grab the broken source-level divine weapon. However, at this moment, a powerful force came from afar and went straight for Lu Ming's vital spot in the middle of his back. Be careful. Qiu Moon and the others hurriedly warned. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. He waved his hand and blasted backward, colliding with the force. With a loud bang, Lu Ming blocked the force. Lu Ming looked in that direction. Another figure continued to head in this direction. It was an old man. It's him. Lu Ming's lips curled as he recognized this old man. He was one of the three remaining first-layer godlords. The one who had attacked just now was clearly this person. The moment this old man arrived, he looked at the large box with a fiery gaze. And source-level divine weapon. The old man's eyes burned with passion. Gentlemen, this old man wants this broken source-level divine weapon. Gentlemen, please do as you please. The old man said. His eyes were fixed on the big box, unable to shift his gaze away. You want it? Old man, who do you think you are? You think you can get your hands on a source-level divine weapon? I'll give you a chance. Hurry up and scram. Wan Shun immediately roared. Little guy, what a big tone. What a big temper. The old man's gaze fell on Wan Shun as he said indifferently, I know all of you. I saw the recording of the battle in Taishang Immortal City in the illusory divine jade. All of you are peerless geniuses, but you are only god emperors. Do you really think you can fight against divine lords? This old man had seen the recording of Lu Ming and the others fighting in Taishang Immortal City in the illusory divine jade and knew that they were the top geniuses of the universe. However, the recording in the illusory divine jade was still a recording, so it was difficult for him to sense the powerful auras of Lu Ming and the others. Therefore, he couldn't truly sense the strength of Lu Ming and the others. As for him, he had full confidence in the fighting strength of a divine lord. He had once been a ninth-layer god emperor for more than 100 stellar years before breaking through to the divine lord realm by chance. The moment he broke through to the divine lord realm, he felt his fighting strength skyrocket. He felt that the divine lord realm was much stronger than the god emperor realm. He didn't believe that someone at the God Emperor realm could fight against someone at the Divine Lord realm. He had heard that a 9th-layer God Emperor with 9-star fighting strength could fight against an ordinary Divine Lord. However, he still didn't believe it and thought that the rumors were exaggerated. This was the blind confidence that powerful strength gave him. Hee, I'll give you 3 breaths of time to scram. If you don't, then don't. Wan Shan shouted coldly, his face darkening as killing intent appeared. What a big tone. I'd like to see how you're going to make me scram. The old man sneered. Before Wan Shan could start the countdown, his figure flashed and he pounced on Wan Shan. Boom. He punched out, his fist energy condensing into a towering mountain that pressed down on Wan Shan. End of chapter. Chapter 4474. Paltry Tricks. Myriad God bellowed coldly as he punched out as well, striking the mountain. Boom. The mountain exploded, but Wan Shan continued to charge at the elder. He reached out and grabbed at the air, causing a massive stone gate to appear. This was the origin secret technique, the God's Gate. The God's Gate was massive, and Wan Shan grabbed it and smashed it at the elder. Sensing the berserk power of the God's Gate, the elder paled and hurriedly used all his strength to block. He punched out with both fists, condensing a star in the air. Boom! The star collided with the sovereign's gate, causing an earth-shattering explosion. Next, cracks appeared on the star, and then it exploded. The elder retreated, spitting out mouthfuls of blood. His face was pale, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. He had been injured by Wan Shan in one move. Such strength, yet you're so blindly confident. You're far inferior to the celestial race's godlords. Wan Shan mocked. Indeed, they were both first-level godlords, but this elder's strength was far inferior to the celestial race's godlords. Wan Shan could even suppress a first-level godlord of the celestial race, let alone this elder. It was normal for him to injure him in one move. Bang! Wan Shan grabbed the God's Gate and took a step forward. The earth rumbled, and his aura surged toward the elder like a raging ocean. The elder was nearly frightened to death. He hurriedly yelled, "Wait a moment. It's a misunderstanding, a misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding." He was truly frightened to death. Wan Shan's strength had far exceeded his expectations. He finally knew that the rumors were true. A 9th-level God Emperor with 9-star combat strength could contend against the most ordinary first-level Godlord. Although Godlords were powerful, those monsters were even more heaven-defying. He had seen the recording of the competition in Zenith Supreme Immortal City. Of the 4 people present, Wan Shan was not the strongest. Xian Yinqing and Lu Ming were ranked above Wan Shan. One was first, and the other was third. Wasn't this strength even more terrifying? He cursed himself in his heart. He shouldn't have been so greedy and confident to provoke these monsters. Misunderstanding? What misunderstanding? The myriad gods sneered. Everything just now was a misunderstanding. I was just testing your strength so that I could make better arrangements when dealing with the heavenly human triblator. Now, it has proven that your strength is beyond my imagination. So, I can rest assured. The old man was spouting nonsense without batting an eyelid. Don't spout nonsense. Die, Myriad God bellowed and was about to attack. The old man's expression changed drastically. He turned around and ran. However, Lu Ming had unknowingly appeared behind this person and pressed down with his palm. The old man hurriedly raised his fist to block. With a boom, half of the old man's body was trapped in the ground. Indeed, even more perverted. The old man roared in his heart, but his mouth was shouting, "Spare me, spare me, it's really a misunderstanding." He screamed miserably, tears almost falling out of his eyes. As a divine master, it was quite difficult for him to have such acting skills. "Hand over your storage ring and I'll spare your life," Lu Ming said. He was just a first-tier divine master, and he wasn't that strong, so he didn't take him seriously. Hand over your storage ring." The old man's expression changed drastically. He was about to cry. "You won't hand it over? Then die." Myriad God shouted, "I'll hand it over." In the end, The old man reluctantly handed over his storage ring to Myriad God. Scram! Myriad God waved his hand. The old man felt as if he had been pardoned. He turned around and ran, wailing in his heart. He was so regretful that he wanted to bang his head against the wall. Lu Ming, here you go. Myriad God tossed the old man's storage ring to Lu Ming. I only want the damaged divine weapon. The rest is yours. Lu Ming scanned the ring with his spiritual sense and found 2 damaged divine weapons. However, they were both main-grade divine weapons. Lu Ming put them away and returned the storage ring to Myriad God. Myriad God put it away without hesitation. With their relationship, there was no need for such courtesy. Lu Ming put away the damaged origin-grade divine weapon as well. This broken divine weapon looked like a mirror made of ancient bronze. However, it was already broken, and a hole had appeared in the middle of it. Lu Ming's group of 4 found it hard to remain calm. An origin-grade divine weapon had a hole punched through it. It looked like it had been punched through by a finger. This was truly astonishing. What sort of existence could have such fighting strength? Lu Ming, Xian Yinqing, and Myriad God all possessed origin-grade divine weapons, so they knew just how tough they were. They were completely indestructible. Let alone origin-grade divine weapons, even main-grade divine weapons were extremely powerful. Unless they were struck by an origin-grade divine weapon, they would be very difficult to destroy. Needless to say, someone had punched through them with a finger. I'll eat, I want to eat. Upon seeing the origin-grade divine weapon, Qiuqiu became extremely excited. Its round body constantly twisting and turning. Qiuqiu, this is an origin-grade divine weapon. Its spirituality is perfect. Can you really eat it? Lu Ming asked. Origin-grade divine weapons were not to be underestimated. The materials used to forge them were even more extraordinary and contained an astonishing amount of energy. He was afraid that after Qiuqiu ate it, not only would it not be able to digest it, but it would also cause major problems. Direction: I have a feeling that I can even digest an origin-grade divine weapon in perfect condition. Why don't you give me an origin-grade divine weapon in perfect condition? Qiuqiu revealed a row of neat rows of teeth, looking very cunning. Go away, go away. Lu Ming unexpectedly kicked Qiuqiu away, then threw the damaged origin-grade divine weapon to Qiuqiu. As for the 2 main-grade divine weapons he had obtained from the Divine Lord Realm Elder, Lu Ming did not give them to Qiuqiu. He was really afraid that Qiuqiu would not be able to digest them and die from overeating. Then, they continued forward and continued their search. This underground space was truly extraordinary. They concluded that this was the place where the Life Soul Heavenly Court used to bury the damaged divine weapons of the Life Soul Heavenly Court experts. Therefore, a large formation had been set up here, which contained rich divine weapons and metal qi. It was used to nurture the divine weapons. Therefore, even after so many years, the damaged divine weapons here were still as good as new, with their spirituality intact. Next, Lu Ming and the others gained quite a lot. They found another 5 main-grade divine weapons and 1 origin-grade divine weapon. In that case, Lu Ming would have 7 master-level incomplete divine weapons and 1 source-level incomplete divine weapon. Lu Ming put away all the main-grade divine weapons they found. He did not give them to Qiuqiu. One could not become fat in one bite. It was better to take it slowly. After that, they did not gain much, because the other big boxes had been found by others before them. I really don't know how many damaged divine weapons there are, especially the origin-grade divine weapons, Lu Ming thought, feeling a little excited, but then he shook his head. It was just a thought. With their strength, they could not eat all the damaged divine weapons. End of chapter. Chapter 4475. After some time, Lu Ming and the others returned to the entrance. The others had also returned. However, Lu Ming discovered that some people were still missing. 6 people were missing. One of them was a first-level divine lord. Everyone looked at each other, knowing what was going on. Those missing people must have been killed by others while fighting over the divine weapon fragment. However, no one said anything. We've finished exploring this place. Let's go. Chui said. Everyone nodded and left together, continuing onward. Soon, 10 some days had passed. The fog descended once more, shrouding the ancient city in a thick fog. This time, everyone was a lot bolder. This was because they had already left the celestial race. There were no longer any celestial race cultivators in this region. In the fog, the group once more distanced themselves from each other. After the divine weapon fragment, everyone's minds became active once more. If they could find such a treasure ground by themselves and not share it with others, wouldn't that be great? Only Lu Ming's group of 4 and Dark Knight Rose's group did not separate. Instead, they moved together. Sure enough, before long, something happened. Half a day after the fog had risen, several miserable screams resounded through the region. Everyone was shocked and rushed over to take a look. In the end, they saw a corpse lying on the ground, no longer breathing. A one-hit kill. Just like before, it was a one-hit kill. One of them was a first-level Divine Lord. Damn it! What's going on? Isn't there no celestial race cultivators in this region? How could someone be killed? Someone roared, on the verge of a mental breakdown. Was it done by one of our own? Someone asked. Everyone's hearts immediately rose to their throats. Their figures flickered as they maintained their distance from the others. Moreover, everyone was looking at the remaining Divine Lord experts, especially the 3 second-level Divine Lords. It really was possible that one of them had done it. There was an extremely high possibility that they had secretly killed others and seized their natal soul origin stone fragments. And the most likely possibility was that the 3 second-level Divine Lords had done it. Only they were capable of killing a first-layer Divine Lord in a single strike when their opponent was caught off guard. It was very difficult for a first-level Divine Master to do so. Everyone, don't fall into their trap. Perhaps this is the celestial race's plan. They want us to be suspicious of each other and panic so that they can take advantage of us. Chewie shouted. Heavenly Human Tribe? Where was the Heavenly Human Tribe? We didn't encounter any heavenly humans along the way. Someone said. But the residual energy in their wounds is clearly the energy of the heavens. How do you explain that? Chewie said. Everyone fell silent. That's right. The remnant energy in these people's wounds was indeed the energy of the heavens. This point was undeniable. As for the heavenly energy, only the people of the heavenly human clan were capable of controlling it. The people of the other clans were unable to control it. Could it be that the heavenly human race really did it? He has mastered a terrifying concealment technique and is hiding in the dark to watch us? Someone said. His voice was trembling and filled with fear. Hearing this, the others also felt a chill run down their spines. It was as if there was a pair of eyes staring at them in the dark, causing them to feel a chill down their spines. Could it really be so? Was there a terrifying heavenly human tribe elite watching them from the dark? Or could it be that the murderer was one of them? For a moment, it was difficult for everyone to tell who was real and who was fake. They only felt that there was danger everywhere around them. I think we'd better wait here and wait for the fog to recede. It won't be too late to take action then. A young man said. He and a few of his subordinates sat cross-legged on the spot and did not intend to leave. Now, it was safer to stay where they were and keep a distance from the others. At the same time, they also looked around. In this way, whether it was the heavenly human tribe or their own people, they could be on guard. I also think that's the best way. Let's wait for the fog to recede before we leave. The others also did the same. They sat where they were and kept a distance from the others. However, the distance was not that far. Once there was a movement, the others could immediately support them. Lu Ming, Anya Rose, and the others looked at each other and also sat where they were. The scene suddenly became extremely quiet. In my opinion, the murderer is among us. At that moment, Anya Rose spoke. However, she did not speak to everyone. Instead, she spoke to Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Di Jianyi, and the others. Her voice was only heard by the 2 groups of people. Oh, how do you know? Wan Shun's eyes moved, and he also sent a voice transmission. Lu Ming has checked before. Lu Ming, you should have found something, right? Anya Rose said. Xian Yanqing, Autumn Moon, Wan Shen, Di Jianyi, Ling Hong, Yin Juling, Shou Wuji, and the other 3 young men could not help but look at Lu Ming. That's right. I also think that the murderer is not from the heavenly human tribe. He is among this group of people. Because, although there is residual heaven's power in their wounds, there is also a trace of death chi in the residual heaven's power. Although it is faint, it can be discovered if one observes carefully. Lu Ming said, and he continued to send a voice transmission. Since he suspected that the murderer was among this group of people, he naturally could not let others hear it. Death chi? What does this mean? Wanshan asked. However, there were a few people whose eyes lit up as though they had thought of something. For example, Xian Yinqing and Di Jiani. Death chi. It means that the owner of heaven's power is dead. However, a dead person would not kill. This time, it was Anya Rose who was alive. Then, Wan Shan and the others who did not understand initially had their eyes lit up. I know. Someone made use of the dead heavenly human tribe members to kill and steal the vitality stone fragments. Wanshan said, That's right. Although I don't know what means they used, this is probably the reason. Otherwise, even if they have some hidden means, they wouldn't be able to appear and disappear so stealthily that we did not notice at all. It could only be done by one of our own. The other party's guard was lower and hence, they could kill in one blow. The most likely culprits would be the 3 second heaven divine masters. Lu Ming said, What should we do next? Wanshan asked, Get rid of this person. Otherwise, it will be difficult for us to move about. We have many vitality stone fragments in our hands and will definitely be targeted by this person. Even if we leave now, this person will follow us and secretly ambush us. This time, it was Anya Rose who spoke. Get rid of this person? The other party might be a second heaven divine master. To put it bluntly, even if all of us joined forces, we might not be able to kill a second heaven divine master expert. Lu Ming said, Under normal circumstances, it would be impossible. However, if we plan carefully and work together with Xian Yinqing and I, it might not be impossible. Anya Rose said, End of chapter. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.